I wouldn't have been in their ballots and stuff.
Where did you grow up, Tom?
Where did I grow up? Well, most of my time here in Mayo. I grew up between County Galway and Glenroe here in the County Mayo. When I was smaller and younger, 9 years of age, we spent our time around Garth winters. He'd travel in the summertime, he'd go back to Clay or he could go anywhere.
Who was he?
My father.
Your father.
And that was it. So from that, then he always reckoned that this was his homeland, that Mayo was. That's where his father and grandfather and all them came from.
Wow.
They came from down there at Scordon. There was a little bit of information of that came up, but it wasn't taken up further by the man that was doing the family tree.
Who was doing the family tree?
Gussie.
Did he get it incorrect, you're saying?
Well, he didn't know. He never took it back to where he should have took it back.
You're saying it could have gone back further?
What I'm saying, and the other hand is this. We pulled up one day,
right.
And myself, and there was a man cleaning up around the front of his house, grass and stuff. And he introduced himself as Gussie Sweeney, as a traveller, and Tom Sweeney, traveller, and all that. So he said there was a relation of ours that used to live around here somewhere. He said, this is what we're led to believe. But he said, you just pulled up there now and you're talking to me. He said, that's where they lived down there. The walls of the house were still there.
Wow.
So it would have been my great grandfather that lived in it. And he was away in the army, and he came back, he was wounded, and he died sometime after anyway. So
you know what war he fought in?
Must be the last World War, sort of.
Yeah.
But that is all the information I had on it and got on it, and so he didn't go back to research what he was, the way I looked at it. He should have gone back to my grandfather or great grandfather, found out, because all this stuff is available in chapels.
Mm.
You can go into a chapel and go back in the certificates when, through your weddings and marriages. And so but as I say, to finish up with what happened with the ITM, being the chair of the ITM in England, and myself, right?
You were the chairperson?
Chairperson I was for years.
Wow. And
I was also a commissioner of the National Gypsy Council. So that's all on there. It's all on to be checked out because it's there in print. I was co-chair, but I was the person. The other person was a priest, so he'd have no knowledge of what it was like to travel or have travelled or all of that stuff. With the Gypsy Council, where that came in, I was doing a talk and I said about, I think it was in Ruskin University I was talking, and I said that, that both of our communities face the same thing. They wanted better sites, they wanted a better standard of living, they wanted that under health and safety and all this, and all that. And I pointed out with that, and from that I got a phone call from them that was their chairperson, he'd like to meet with me. So I met with him and that was it. So he asked me, so would you join the Gypsy Council? So they reckoned I was the first man to ever get a gypsy and a traveller sitting down at the same table.
Well done.
Because they used to come together. So there's a lot of things like that, I suppose, that came good out of it.
What was it like growing up? Did you do much travelling? Was it tent, wagon?
Well, tents most of our time. And later years they started getting wagons, and it wasn't everybody who could afford one because they were a bit expensive. And the carpenters that was doing it in this part of the country weren't very good. So just they were slapped together like what it's saying. Newry, if you was a wagon and you got a Newry wagon to be an expensive one because it's been properly built, every board and thing in it be countersunk, and there'd be no molds. They'd be all done by hand, and so the same thing the Newry did bankyards, they did flats, and their standard of work was better than any other carpenter. They really done a good job.
Wow.
So
did you ever do tinsmithing?
A little bit of it, not a lot of it. A little bit after getting married. But all my family were tinsmiths, other than the youngest Joe now, he'd do a bit of fiddling like myself. But never took it up and followed it. So Yeah, no, every one of my brothers did a little bit of it, but they were all starting from the eldest, Jack, the rest is all, Michael, May, Paddy, Dave, Jim didn't. He didn't put it up because he was way too young. And every one of them were Fenceman's. So that's
And your
why
father?
he was, well, he was the man that trained the lot of them. Like you'd learn from your father watching him what he was doing. And if it wasn't done right, he'd soon remind you. So,
He wouldn't buy sweets.
no, that was the thing when cans were made by him, the rest is all the country people knew that well up around Cork and part of it down here, that they could recognise the can by who made it. That was made by Michael Sweeney, because you know he was left-handed, and they got to know the difference between the same right-handed and left-handed sames. So they're that used to it that you couldn't con them in that way. Say, yeah, that's Mick Sweeney's.
It had almost its own trademark, its own signature.
Yeah.